Yeah. What we got next?
So, easy, what makes you laugh? I'm really curious. What's the kind of humor that just hits you every time, and how does it shape your perspective?
Oh man, uh, I'm an enigma, really. I For the people that really know me, my family, close friends, I laugh at very little. I hardly ever laugh, but I find humor in everything, and you can't. I mean, mine. I guess I started from an early age. I come from a entertainment type family. They were musicians, wonderful, top quality musicians, but they were entertainers also. They knew how to work the crowd and work the room. I mean, you could hire a band and they play a set. They come in, they play their set, they go home. Okay, crowd's happy. That's what they knew what they was coming to see. But if you come to see a performance and a performer, it's different. And with my grandfather, he was a fiddle player, had square dance on Friday and Saturday nights, and he he knew how to work the crowd, and so did my daddy and my uncles that played with him, and the bass player, stand-up bass player, he was the father-in-law of one of my uncles. So I learned humor from them, and I learned how to study people and watch and see what worked and see what made them laugh and see what was happening right then. And I guess that really caught on with me. I don't. One of my Yeah, it did catch on, but it also taught me some lessons there too. I learned how to make people laugh. I learned how to study the people. I learned how to entertain. But I'll tell you a little story. I had always had long hair back then. I mean, it was the 70s. Think about it. So, and my parents, they were, cool. So it was, you know, over my ears because if you notice, I kind of, anyway. Uh, they always call me, the old men up there always called me a girl. They was always kidding me, joking with me, calling me a little girl, picking on me and what have you. So one night, it was in between dances. Everybody was leaving the floor and what have you. They started picking on me. I was out there for some reason in the way. And I decided to show them I wasn't a little girl. So I dropped pants right there in the middle of the square dance floor. I learned two lessons that night. I learned about dark humor and I also learned that my mother was not in my demographic because she pulled me off of that floor by my arm and into the ladies' bathroom and wore my ass out. So I learned how to reread the crowd. But it it went on from there. I mean, on into school, you learn you learn if you made people laugh, then they were happy, and everything was just moving right along. Everything's calm. Everything's like it's supposed to be, as far as you knew as a child, anyway. But even in school, I wasn't the class clown. Now, a wonderful comedian named Ryan Davis, he said it best. He said the class clown. He said they're the ones that get sent to the principal's office or ends up in remedial. But if you could make the teacher laugh, then or get her on your side, then you had something. And usually you instead became the teacher's pet in a way. I was kind of lucky there. I was good at art and whatever, and lot of the artwork for a lot of their walls. But you just have to, I don't know. There's so many ways. Like I said, you find humor in day to day life, because if you don't, I mean, look at the world. I watch stand up comedians in a different way. People when they watch a movie or a comedian or whatever, they think I reckon they think I just hate it or whatever, but I'm not. I mean, I'm sitting there studying it the whole time because I don't know. A comedian, their mind is always on. I mean, whether they're on or not, their mind is always on. We're always gathering information, coming up with new jokes, coming up with half jokes, coming up with something that might be a joke, and seeing what is going on. I uh, I did do stand up back in the '90s in a club about an hour away from my hometown, and I was just the opener, and I wasn't by no means a regular. They would holler at me, especially when they had a headliner whose comedy was along the same lines as mine, so I could kind of warm up the crowd. They come on and bam, I, I worked for gas money and beer. I mean, it was no big deal, but it was a learning experience, and you learn how to work the crowd. Uh, I don't. There's so many stories that come to my mind about you can't. Like I said, you find comedy wherever, and which comedy it is depends on the room. Now, everybody can be funny, but some people take the joke too far. You sometimes I stuttered as a child too, so my jokes had to be quick one-liners, get them done, make them laugh, go on. That's kind of continued. Uh, Even with social media, when it came along, I started the inspirational posters. A lot of us, with our twisted minds, we started changing them up, and memes were born. So I jumped on that bandwagon, and still post quite a few, and come up with a few, and redistribute a few, redo a few. I have folders full. Uh, some that I post on my page, some that I post in groups that I'm in, and some that I can't post at all. Whoever gets my laptop and my phones when I'm dead and gone, once they get past the encryption and everything, like I used to be in IT room before they went south, but they're gonna be in for a surprise anyway. But and I have notepads of jokes that I'm looking for pictures for, because I'm one of those visuals. If I come up with a joke, I have to see it in my head and see it delivered, and hopefully see the response. And hopefully it's the right response and the one that you're looking for. I've bombed, I and still do. I, I'm gonna do it on here. So it's a learning process. I still I look back at some of the greats, and when they started out, because I started watching Comedy Central when it first started, so I watched a lot of them blossom, and I mean just blow up. And I'll sit and I'll watch some of their first sets, and I'll look, and you'll see when they trip up, but then you'll see how they act like they did it on purpose, and sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. But I can put the fun in funeral. Like I said, you can find, yeah, grandpa's laying there dead. Everybody's crying. But you know what? There's some funny. Grandpa might have been an honest cuss. I mean, I got on everybody's nerve, whatever. But there's some, you're going to laugh at every bit of that now. And what better time? I mean, I want people, I mean, I want people rolling in the aisles at my funeral. I don't want to dry in the house, or I don't want to dry a seat in the house. I don't. You just the world. The world's funny, and people need to be that way. Now I don't know. The meme trend is shifting. They're starting to get away from the pictures, which is sad to me because I have a folder full of pictures and I'm looking for jokes, or I have half jokes in my head for. And I have a notepad full of jokes that I'm looking for pictures for. But the trend now is starting to be just a blank canvas with a joke on it. So I'm kind of drifting that way too. You got to roll with the flow. You got to give people what they want. If you don't, why are you even doing this? First of all, you're doing this just to make people laugh. That is. I know I have church ladies on my wall from my mother, uh, from when she was big church choir and everything. And I know they shake their head and they pray for me, but they hang around, I guess, to see if the prayers work. Well, guess what? You're still hanging around and I'm still making you giggle and shake your head. So, yeah, I guess in a way the prayers are working. So, see, life's not all bad. I do keep it tame. I don't do vulgar. I don't do I don't do racial. I don't do political. All of that. It's, to me, there's not even humor in it. So, and that's what it boils down to. It's like I said, I laugh at very little, but I find humor in everything. And I think that maybe if the world would be more like that, of course, that's just me. And yeah, I call myself a comedian, but hell, I'm just an entertainer. I'm just damn dough easy. That's all we can be. Speaking of which, y'all keep laughing a little bit. Find something to laugh at. It's always there. Y'all take it easy.